Yo, this is for you. I am my number one fan. For you, this is for you.
For me?
I am my number one fan. For you, yo, this is for you. I am my number one fan. For you, I am my number one fan. I'm trying to get you from here to there. I'm trying to show niggas it ain't fair.
Season 2.
How I just came up, but you not there. Stuck in the same situation you been in. They got the club, you got the sound. You not just a groupie that's hanging around. They got the stage, but you bring the lights. It's enough room at the top, we ain't gotta fight. I am my number one fan. I am that legend you stand for.
What's up, y'all? This is Reese. And this is Arnold. And welcome back for season 2 of the NayborsPodcast. And we love y'all. We missed y'all. And yo, thank you for being our neighbor. Yes. And we would like to thank all of our number one fans out there.
Yes. Every last one of y'all. Y'all know who y'all are. So we really don't have time to go through and name y'all off by name.
Right.
We want to thank all of y'all.
Right. So y'all, we
Well, let's you know what, Reese?
What?
Since we've been out of commission for a little bit,
right?
What did you do for the New Year's?
So, what did I do for the New Year? I chilled.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll put it like this: for someone who is an entrepreneur, I chilled.
There you go.
But
that's good.
But those persons that actually know what I've done, they know I was on my grind.
Yeah,
I was. One thing about being an entrepreneur, you get to have a vacation as long as you want.
Mm-hmm.
So I took literally a month of vacation.
Mm-hmm.
But in that time I had to reflect on myself, sit down, be quiet, and understand what my goals and dreams are over this next decade.
Right.
I reevaluated what I was doing this past decade from 2010 to 2019, and now what's going to happen from 2020 to 2029.
Okay.
Especially since within this next decade, at the end of it, I'll be in my mid-50s. So,
oh, you young.
Yeah, just a little, just a little. That's a little.
Well, for me, I wasn't that lucky. I had a vacation too, but it only lasted one day. Because I had to get back to work to pay those bills for Christmas shopping and stuff like that. So you know how it is. We want to make sure that our children and grandchildren and family members have all that they need.
Right.
And then sometimes you go over a little board, and we got to pay that stuff back. So for me, even though I am an entrepreneur, I'm a part-time entrepreneur. I also have a gig. So I do work. I get a paycheck. And I had to go back to work, so I didn't get a chance to sit down. But I did get a chance to evaluate and assess the next coming year for me. So I didn't go as far as Mr. Reese did. But I came up with some things and some ideas and some plans for me to continue to have a good and prosperous year.
Right. And I think what one of those things that we need to concentrate on just as human beings, not necessarily culturally or whatever else, but just as human beings, sometimes you need to take that time for yourself.
You do. I agree. Even if you're in a relationship,
right?
Even if you have a significant other, or even if it's from the job, sometimes you need to just sit back and analyze everything that's going on in your life,
right?
So you can make corrections,
right,
and eliminate things that you need to eliminate from your life,
right? So just for myself, I had taken that time and bought me a new whiteboard. My old one, it just every time I had written on it, it was ghosting and. That was a little cheap, little Five Below type.
I'm sorry. I'm glad you clarified that real quick, because it sounded like you said you bought yourself a new whiteboard. I can say, what's this, the new slavery?
Board.
Yeah, but it was whiteboard.
Whiteboard.
I just wanted to make sure, in case I was just the only one that heard that.
Yeah, right. So let me enunciate.
There we go. New word for the day.
I bought myself a new whiteboard.
There we go.
And I had to write down everything that I've accomplished to some degree and what my plans are for this coming year. So this year is going to be on fire.
Yeah, I believe it is too. I'm
laying that, groundwork, and I want our neighbors to understand that, sometimes you got to write that thing down.
You do.
And let it look at you every day. You look at it every day. And
right.
then, whether or not it makes you feel good or bad, take that energy and move on whatever your dreams are.
That's right, because that's just like, if you can see it, you can achieve it.
Right.
If you can dream it, you can also achieve it.
Right.
So it's almost like you're speaking it into existence, but it's just that you're doing it with your eyes.
Right.
And you're getting to visualize that. That way you can constantly, it's there.
Right.
It's in your face, so it doesn't fall behind or you miss it.
Listen, I had someone I had talked to about writing down their stuff on their whiteboard. They said, Maurice, every time I look at it every day, it makes me feel like a failure because I haven't done anything with it.
Right.
I'm like, look, well, do something then.
Exactly.
Like, what are you waiting on?
Exactly.
So this year, let us start on this new decade on a positive note. Of course, listen to us helps you out some.
Of course.
We help we're here to motivate you.
That's right.
And as you have questions, suggestions, things like that, we'll take it. We'll talk about it. And if you have an idea, we could say, hey, you know what? Let's think that thing through, because Arnold will tell you, like, I'm a thinker. Like, I'll evaluate it and break that thing down to the smallest degree.
Hey, that's who I run all my problems to. I'm not the sharpest tool in the tool shed, but I know where to go.
And see, the thing is, I understand what's my God-given gift.
Right.
So I work in that constantly.
Right, and that's very important. That is very important.
So as we move forward with 2020, and you understand that 2020 thing, everybody's playing off that 2020 vision.
Right.
So my question is, are y'all focused? Are you focused? Are you focused on the right things or the wrong things?
Exactly.
Are you focusing on how to make your community, your neighborhood better?
Right.
I had to sit down, and as I was writing, I realized that I sat on a board for 6 different nonprofits. I was like, wow, I didn't even realize that. But I had to go through and analyze that for a second, because, and each one, 2 of them kind of overlap, being community development.
Right.
But all the other ones talks about African-American education in the upper Montgomery County of Pennsylvania. I've some that talks about dealing with individuals with intellectual disabilities. Kids with food allergies. Like, it's so many different organizations out there that's trying to make our neighborhood better.
Right.
And I just want to know, what are y'all doing out there?
That's right, yo. So if there's anything that you guys are doing to help uplift your community, to prevent violence, to help educate people on certain things, send us a DM, send us a note, hit us, email us,
right?
However you want to get to us and let us know so we can put it out there and we can discuss that.
Moving forward, starting somewhere around, I think, March or April, we'll be, if you hit us up, we could talk about sponsorships and things like that.
Yeah.
Where you can add yourself to our website. You can add your postings to our social media. We could talk, through all of that process. So we can get the word out there. The key is just trying to help each other out. But Brother Arnold, he's really vigilant. He's been vigilant with this Man Up Philadelphia thing. Like, he's really following up with that.
Yeah, I've been checking it out. I mean, it's certain things that they're doing, and the only thing that I'm disappointed in myself is my scheduling.
Right.
So I haven't got a chance to fully physically insert myself into that.
Right.
But I've been watching them, I've been following them, and I've been supporting them from afar. So basically what Man of Philadelphia is, it was an organization started by a brother by the name of Solomon Jones, and he is kind of like the voice of Philadelphia. He is the black voice of Philadelphia, and his brother is very strong. His brother is very educated, very deep, and he has the concern that he has for community. It's so uplifting and inspirational that that's why I've been keeping my eye on this, because anything that you learn to help to teach each other is always a plus, because there's so much gun violence going on out there. It's so much different type of things that are going on out there: sex trafficking, drug abuse, poverty, and just so much that certain little things, if we can just change certain conditions, we can change people's situations, but the problem is you have to be able to contact people. You got to be able to reach a person's level, and help a person to understand that there is a better way. And that's what I love about Man Up Philadelphia. So if you're from the Philadelphia area and you haven't heard about Man Up Philadelphia, check it out. They're on all social medias. And if you don't know anything about that, you can check it out through the brother Solomon Jones one on all social medias.
And then also he does have a daily radio show too.
Yeah, he's on WURD Word, and that's on 96.1 FM and 900 AM. And he's on from 7 o'clock in the morning to 10 a.m. So,
and since we're talking about that, I want to big up, my big sister, Joss Duncan, who works down there also.
That's right. Give her a hand.
But, we would just want to make sure that y'all understand that, even though Arnold asked me what I've been doing, during our time off, that's what he's been doing.
Yeah.
Really, getting deep into that, studying that and trying to implement it in the next couple months.
Yeah, because I've been. It's a work in progress.
Right.
It's definitely a work in progress.
Because like I said, 2020 is going to be a different year for all of us.
Right.
And we're going to probably ask our neighbors to help, aid, and assist one way or another, whether it's donations, whether it's volunteering, mentoring. Maybe even teaching a class, holding a workshop, doing a seminar. It doesn't matter. You can even hit us up about that. What are your gifts? What are your specialties?
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel like you need to move the needle so that our community is better?
So I think the most important thing about that is what they do is that they are collectively bringing together different organizations that have already been out there. They just haven't been recognized. So, and that's one thing I like about that. Like I said, for me, scheduling time for me is a little difficult for me right now. But I'm about to move some things around where I can get myself and insert myself into learning more about them and what they're doing. So yeah. I just don't want to just mention them and try to piggyback off what they're doing.
Oh, no. I'm not saying that.
No. But yeah. I'm just saying, I just want, because some people, they hear things and they like, oh, he's just doing this, he's just doing that. And that's not what I'm doing. I'm giving these brothers these praises.
Right.
Because these brothers are really taking the time out. It's like maybe about 10 different organizations that I know of that's with them, And like I said, this brother Solomon Jones is phenomenal in Philadelphia. He has done so much, and I can do a whole show on everything that he's done for Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm.
My thing is that we should all be activists like that. We should all look for and help injustice that happens in our communities like that, because we are the first the line of defense in our communities.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to protect our communities, our children, our wives, our brothers, our sisters, our mothers, our uncles, our cousins, our families.
And I want y'all to understand that, at least for myself, I do know that everyone cannot be out front. Everyone does not feel comfortable being out front. So I'm not going to put that much weight on you. But, but you can, but I believe your skills can be an asset.
Correct.
No matter what you provide.
Correct.
Because some people don't want to be out there in the front. So maybe you have some other resources. Maybe you could write grants. Maybe you have some other financial backing, or, pretty well off where you can donate, let's say $10 a week, $100 a week. It doesn't matter. Any donation is better than none. Any support is better than none. So as we're moving forward, because the main thing is, I know we're talking about just building a neighborhood today and getting back on that flow, you do realize that everything that's going on in the world, how taxing it really is on us right now.
Of course it is.
We are really struggling. A lot of us are dealing with a lot of mental anguish.
Right.
And sometimes these type of movements, picks us up some.
Right.
Gives us a sense of belonging.
Right.
So, again, I don't want you thinking like, hey, I need to go and do this and do that and be a part of this. You can help out in as many people as you want. You know, I don't want you to feel bad about that.
The main thing is this. It's just that sometimes you just have to stop sitting around. You have to make a conscious decision to do something. You know, sometimes it's enough time for talk. It's time for action. So, you know, everybody has to do their part according to what their ability to do their part is. So don't ever think that you can't bring anything to the table because you don't know what type of skill you have until you bring it out.
Right.
You know?
And if you understand what your skill is up front, be sure to let it shine. Don't try to hide it underneath a bushel.
Right. Right.
You know. So
but always remember that we at the Naybor's Podcast, we're about community.
Right.
We're about neighborhoods. We're about putting in place a structure that helps to uplift us.
Right.
To move us along. And in particular, we're even though we may we tend to lay to the side of people of color. It's because that's what we know. We're from people of color.
Right.
So I can't walk in the shoes of a person that is a Caucasian or a white person and tell you how it is to feel to be them. But I can tell you how it feels to be a brown person or a yellow person or a black person.
Well, I think that's a little. I understand that, but I can't tell you what it means to be Hispanic.
Well, I think in a sense, Hispanic people their plight is almost similar to ours, especially in this country.
Almost.
Because under the eyes of everything that goes on, the higher government and everything, all of us are the same.
I mean, I guess here's the reason why I'm saying that. I don't have the fear that ICE is going to come pick me up.
Well, yeah.
I have a fear of cops coming to get me, but but on their end, they have not just the cops, but they also have ICE.
Right.
You know, so that's another level of.
Yeah, but what if you get an ICE detective? I mean, not a detective, but an ICE officer who happens to think you look like a Spanish guy.
I mean,
or if you look, because you can pass for a Dominican. I can pass for a Dominican, or you can pass for some other ethnicity until we talk, or until they see our ID.
Right.
So
I understand that part.
when you have people that are programmed a certain way about a certain bunch of individuals, then that's what they all see.
Right.
You know, so. Even though we take that with the superstars, they make all this money, but look what happened to the young brother that was he used to play basketball, and something happened to him, and the police officer videotaped him. I think he was homeless, and they had him handcuffed on the side, and he videotaped this guy to show because this is who this guy is, and I think his caption was something how the great have fallen.
Yeah,
you know, so to their eyes, a lot of them think that we're nothing or nobodies. Regardless of how much money we have or how much money we don't have, because they think they're always going to be above us.
Yeah, and we don't know all of the. For those of persons who don't know who is being referenced right now is Delonte West.
Delonte West, right?
And we don't necessarily understand his whole story. He I don't know if y'all know that he used to play with LeBron James,
right?
And he was dating LeBron James's mom.
Right.
And LeBron James has a little clout.
Right.
So I can't 100%, I don't feel comfortable in saying, hey, Delonte just fell all the way off the wagon, or did LeBron just look, blackball this dude because he's dating my mom and I don't want to deal with that.
Well, I mean, I don't think that he would. I understand he has power. I understand he has a reach. But do you actually think that he would do something?
Yeah.
That, and I understand that we love our mothers.
Right.
And, the worst thing could happen is, we get that guy away from our mother. That's what we want.
Right.
We want that to be the best thing to get him away.
Right.
But would you destroy somebody's life behind that?
I mean, I
so maybe like we say, we don't know his complete story.
Right.
We don't know exactly why he became homeless, because it could have been a result of LeBron talking to him and saying, yo, man, I need you to stop seeing my mom, blah, 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 this and the other thing.
Right.
And he took that hard and started using drugs and maybe gamble, whatever.
Right.
Whatever. The issue is this. The police officer shouldn't have did what he did.
So
he shouldn't have made a mockery of this man because this man was homeless and because this man has fallen from grace.
Well, the question is, and so here's the part I don't know. Did the officer even know who this man was?
Yeah. If you watch the video,
I watched parts of it.
He tells you who he is. He knows who he is.
Yeah, my stomach can't take all of it like that.
He knows who he is. So, like I say, these things that we go through in life, this is why it's so important that we uplift our communities. This is why it's so important that we keep each other up instead of tearing each other down,
Yeah, but see, so this is where I'm talking about in reference to just people who have power, even that even looks like us. We're not always for each other.
True. I agree with you on that.
I
agree with you on that 100%.
And unfortunately, I feel like those persons that are in this millennial age, they're kind of more about me than we, in my opinion.
I can see that.
And then if you listen to some of the studies and go to these seminars who talks about age and or what each generation is about and stuff like that, those that are in the millennial group, they do seem a little more selfish than others. So
do you have a reasoning why you think they like that?
Just it's more of a, if you take a look at just from the social media perspective, they it's all about, hey, look at me, I'm flashy, I'm this, I'm that. I read an article this morning that talked about Kylie Jenner and how she's flaunting her wealth, and people have been coming at her neck about it. She took the video down, but they're coming at her neck and saying, hey, how much money do you have? Like, do you always have to show how much money you have? Do you always have to show, you buying a new car? She just had bought a Bugatti, and that doesn't mean that those that are in our age bracket, they don't show off. But I don't see Puffy, Jay-Z, even Rihanna. Even though Rihanna's in the millennial group, but I don't even see her flaunting like that.
Well, I think the difference between Puffy, Rihanna, and Kylie Jenner is this: their struggle is totally different. Kylie Jenner didn't have to struggle.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that
she didn't have no struggle. Everything was given to her.
That's one of the things that the article talked about.
Yeah, so she's more entitled.
Those that have money, it's easier for you to make more money, i.e., our president.
Right.
He may say, "Oh yeah, I had to pull myself up by your bootstraps." No, you didn't, dude, because you were able to get a sizable donation from your father. Exactly. And depending on what article you read, that you actually took your, he actually had taken his siblings' money too.
Right.
So he did not necessarily have to start from the bottom.
Right.
So in, as we're talking about, I know we've gone from supporting these, organizations to even where people are now being selfish. You have to really understand what side of the fence you're on.
Correct.
And are you selfish or selfless?
Good question, brother. Good question. Very good question.
Because sometimes I think that we get kind of caught up in that.
Right.
And I'm sorry, one other thing too. When you think about someone like Lizzo, because that was something else that had happened on our board. Do you think that she was doing something because she wanted the attention, or she just felt comfortable in what she was wearing at that time?
I think with her, I think it was a little bit of both. Because, correct me if I'm wrong, her incident had to do with the clothing line that came out from Beyonce.
Something like that, yeah.
And that the fact that Beyonce didn't have no plus size clothing.
Yeah.
Clothes for her. So she ended up taking something.
Yeah.
Right. So I think part of the way was to keep her relevant, because I think she's got one hit.
I think it's 2.
She got 2.
Yeah, I think it's 2.
Right, so and she's a fairly good looking big girl. There's nothing wrong with her, and I can see that because there isn't nothing, she wanted to support Beyonce, but because they didn't have anything her size, she was upset. So I think it's a little bit of both. I think she did it for the publicity, and I think she did it because she felt like I can do it.
Yeah, and unfortunately, you have to find some type of gimmick to stay relevant.
And in this day and age, sometimes that's what you need. But when have you not able to not use a gimmick? everybody has some type of gimmick.
Right.
Regardless if it's a positive gimmick, a negative gimmick. Because remember, publicity, regardless if it's negative or positive, is all good.
Right.
Because as long as you're being put out there.
Right.
As long as people are seeing you.
Right.
So that's the whole thing about publicity.
Right.
So, yeah, I think she was using it to her advantage. Fine.
But
She took advantage of the situation.
But like you said, in publicity, there's ways to put yourself out there without having to say, hey, throw your hands up in the air like, hey, look at me type thing.
But like you said with the millennials,
that's their mindset.
Who are they going to look at?
Right.
Are they going to look at the person that's giving them the positive image and that's not actually out there like that?
Yeah.
Or are they going to look at the flamboyant person that's throwing their hands up in the air and waving like, hey, here I am on top of this bridge.
Right.
Here I am about to jump, but I'm not really going to jump. But I'm going to tell you I'm going to jump.
Right.
So you can look at me, y'all. Look at me.
So then I guess, you know what, let's rewind that. And I know that we're, we don't want to take up a whole lot of y'all time. But as I'm sitting here thinking about it, would you say Will Smith is in that hey, look at me mode right now?
Okay, so in some degree, I think what Will does is to keep him and his family relevant. Because remember, Will wasn't on social media for years.
Yeah, you're right.
And then I think a publicist or somebody said, yo, why don't you get on social media?
Right.
And he said, all right, I'm going to get on social media. So when he got on there, the first thing he did was promote his son.
Yeah, one of those. Yeah.
And he promoted his children. Then he started promoting himself with everything he does, And then I don't see, because I follow Will.
Right.
And I don't see him a lot on there. And when he's on there, it is something that, like, wow, he is really doing something that you would never expect nobody to do.
And I think that with him, he is, if you pay attention to what he's doing, it's not necessarily, hey, look at me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for an example, his whole 50th thing where he jumped out the airplane and all that stuff.
Right.
Really, as he was saying, that there was also a message behind it.
Right.
And what is that message? Getting over your fears.
Right.
Things like that. I think that's one of the things that he tries to put out there.
And I think him and Jada does that good with her, particularly doing the red table talk.
Yeah.
So they found a niche for themselves. Even though he is not making a lot of movies, you know, and the movies that he is making, some of them are big hits and some of them are not. So
mostly duds.
Yeah,
lately.
I kind of like the Gemini Man.
Okay, I haven't seen that one yet.
Yeah, it's.
I'm not in a rush.
Yeah, I kind of liked it because I liked the CGI in it.
Oh, okay.
When they made a younger version of himself.
Okay.
So I kind of liked that. So that's the new thing right now, where they're taking people older. Because if you've seen The Irishman,
right?
They did that with Robert De Niro, Joe Pesci, and Al Pacino.
Right.
They made these guys younger. So that's the new thing right now. And with his other movie that I like was Bright, the one he did for Netflix.
Right, the one with
Bright
the
was pretty
alien
good.
thing.
Yeah, Bright was pretty good.
Okay.
It reminded me of I can't think of the alien movie with Alienation with James Cameron.
Yeah, back in the day.
So it reminded me of that.
Yeah,
so
I can't watch that because that was when I was in middle school when that show was out, and because of my head. That's what they used to call me. There's one guy, he used to call me Alienation.
Oh.
Because he said just the back of my head was so big, and then he kept asking would I get drunk off of sour milk.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's what they used to do.
Yeah, because that's what they got drunk off.
So when you talk about certain things, man, I have childhood traumas with that.
Oh, you'll be all right.
Yeah, I will.
I'm having sessions on Wednesday night.
Yeah, right.
So just come on by, man. It's a group setting, so
Right.
you'll be all right. You know, it's people there that have like issues.
Right. I listen, man. I might need that.
Yeah, I'm with you, homie. I'm with you.
I might need that.
I'm right there with you, man. I'm gonna help you out, man. I ain't my brother's keeper.
Right.
But as far as the social media thing is, the social media thing could be a curse and it could be a blessing.
Right.
So it depends on how you use it.
Yeah.
People use it for, with great power comes great responsibility.
Right.
So it depends on how you use the power. So do you continue to be flamboyant and this and that and the other thing? Because if you listen to some people, they say, well, social media is what Instagram is like, be all you can be, and then share that way. And then you don't know if half of these people are telling the truth or whatever. You know, my thing is this: if you see something, you like it, if you believe that it's true or whatever, and you want to accomplish it, you can.
You can.
You can.
And one thing about social media, it makes you into something that where you might not be.
True.
Because you could show people one thing and you could be something totally different behind the scenes. And I think that we've seen that with persons that have committed suicide and things like that. Now, some people will tell you exactly who they are because they'll tell you, like, yo, I'm going to go shoot up this store, and they go shoot up a whole mall.
Yeah.
You know, like you do have that too. But I think overall, people are kind of trying to show one thing when they really feel something else. And they're trying to find ways to help them become better. That's one of the reasons why, social media is trying to get rid of all like buttons.
Right.
They're trying very, very hard to do that because people are really obsessed with that.
With the likes.
Yeah.
I gotta get it so many likes.
Right.
But as people that know that what we do and how we do, we understand that the likes are not important.
No.
It's not important.
So
exposure is.
Yeah.
To certain things it is. But the likes are not important.
No, not at all. Not at all. All right, y'all. So it's that time.
Yeah, I'm just so happy that we're back.
Yeah, we back.
I'm glad we back. I liked that little hiatus. It was good. I got a little antsy, but I'm just so glad that we back.
Yeah.
But we got to pay them bills.
Of course. And we want to keep y'all on edge, man. We don't want to give you everything at once.
Nah.
We got to keep y'all on edge. But I want y'all to make sure that y'all continue to like, share, and subscribe to episodes. Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Also, we're on a total of like 16 different platforms, and I'm not going to go through each and every one of them.
So all you got to do is just follow us on our social medias, and you'll see all the platforms that we are on, where you guys can listen to us on.
Yeah, we're not on every single one.
Right.
But we're on enough that it's hard for you to say, I can't find you.
Right. And
let's make sure we spell this correctly. Naybors. You know what? As I started spelling it, I started thinking about YMCA.
Is that why you got that cowboy hat on?
Nah, yeah. Right. I don't know why. Like that just popped in my head. I don't know why. That was stupid. But I just want to make sure that y'all, make sure that you spell it out correctly. And again, as Arnold just mentioned, you can look us up on any social media. You'll see postings about what platforms we're on.
Yeah, you'll see it all. And check our websites out.
Right.
You can also check out our personal IGs and all our social media. You'll see it as soon as you go in there. And remember, we have a new show comes up every Monday morning at 6 a.m.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. We thank y'all very much.
We love y'all.
And
have a blessed week.
We'll see y'all next week.
Peace.
You are the agent and we look for change. You conquered the pressure and you did not fall, but you are a diamond